Hey friends, it's time for another episode of Nutrition Talks with Jackie. This is week 2 of our discussion about proteins. I initially thought we'd spend 4 weeks on the topic, but on further consideration, it's so important, we really need 5 weeks, maybe even 6. Last week we looked at why protein is important, and this week we're going to take a look at what proteins are, how our bodies use them. Next week we'll take a deep dive into the various sources of protein, and then in weeks 4 and 5, we'll cover proteins and weight loss and proteins and muscle gain. I know that's really what you're interested in, but we're going to lay the groundwork first. I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm an Herbalife health coach. I used Herbalife products to drop 40 pounds while adding muscle mass, and I continue to use these products to maintain a healthy weight, fuel my workouts, and help me age with grace. I'm a former teacher and curriculum designer with a passion for helping others take charge of their health. And I love talking about protein. The main takeaway from last week's talk is that protein is so very important because protein is the building block of every single cell in our bodies. Before we talk about sources of protein and what we recommend, we need to cover a few terms. You'll hear the terms complete proteins and incomplete proteins. What are those? A complete protein contains all 9 of the essential amino acids. So what the heck is an amino acid and what makes it essential? To understand that, you need to understand what proteins are made of. When you eat a food containing protein, the first thing your body does to digest it is break it apart into segments called peptides. It's those smaller bits, those peptides, that get absorbed into your bloodstream. So now it's in your bloodstream, what happens? Those peptides are made of tiny parts called amino acids. Then here comes the most amazing part to me. God is so awesome in the way He designed us to work. Your body breaks the peptides apart into smaller bits called amino acids and then puts them back together again in a different order, depending on which body part needs that little piece of protein. Different body parts need different little bits. Maybe the protein is needed to repair a muscle. That's different than the protein to help make up the liver cell or the cells that carry oxygen. There are 22 types of amino acids. Our body makes enough of some of those amino acids. Others may be needed at times in greater amounts than our body can make, so we need extra from the food. And 9 of those amino acids are called essential because while our body needs them, they can only be obtained through the foods we eat. So our choices of food is really important. A protein is considered complete if it contains all 9 of those essential amino acids. Quality sources of protein are super, super important. I know that was a lot of information to absorb, but I'm a firm believer that when we understand what our bodies need and why, we're more likely to give our bodies what they need. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and Instagram so you don't miss anything. We post meal and workout ideas as well as weight loss tips and motivation. See you next week for a look at various sources of protein and what we recommend. Remember, take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Stay fit for life.